So welcome back to the channel, everyone. Triple M here, and today we're unboxing and testing the brand new Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K Max. Now, this is of course Amazon's flagship Fire Stick. This is the second generation or second iteration of the 4K Max, and this has all the bells and whistles. So some of the key features, of course, is Wi-Fi 6, so this is going to of course give you better streaming, better connectivity. This also comes with 16 gigs of storage, which a lot of people have been waiting for, and a brand new Ambient Experience, which is debuting with this device. So this video, we're going to unbox it, put it to the test, check out the new features, check out the specifications, and see where it compares to some of the most popular devices. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash the notification bell. Let's go. Alright, so the box is going to be typically what we see from Amazon Fire TV devices. This includes the Fire TV Cube, very minimalistic. On the front, you can see just a picture of the Fire Stick. On the back is going to have some of the key features. Open it up, you can see we have cardboard as we always do, very neatly packed. And the reason I say that is because if you ever were to try to put this back together after getting everything else, it's next to impossible. So in the box, we're going to have the Fire Stick, we're going to have the remote, we're going to have a USB cable, HDMI dongle, instructional booklet, power adapter, 2 AAA batteries for your remote, and I'm glad that Amazon included that in their devices. That way, that's one less thing you have to worry about. So first thing is the quick start guide or instructional booklet. This is going to really tell you everything you need to know about the device, what the buttons are, how to set it up, how to get started. We also going to have a USB cable. Now this is going to provide power to your Fire TV stick. Now I myself am disappointed that they still using a micro USB. They haven't moved over to USB-C as of yet, but this is what they're still running. So micro USB to USB-A. Of course, the USB-A is going to plug into the power brick. Now this is going to be your standard 5-volt 1-amp power supply. So this is what we've been seeing from Amazon the past couple of years. Of course, we're going to have the standard HDMI dongle provided again, and this essentially makes it easier to get your Fire Stick into those hard to reach spaces. We also have the remote, and this remote essentially mimics what we saw on the Fire TV Cube 3rd generation. So standard buttons up top, navigation, home menu. You do have the volume up and down, as well as your TV button. And on the bottom, you have your 4 quick launch buttons. We'll compare the remote a little bit later to some of the other Amazon devices. So next we have the Fire Stick itself, and like I said, the difference between this and the other Fire TV sticks are going to be obviously the rounded edges. The rounded edges, the brand new look. I do like it, but besides that, it's identical. So on the side, you're going to have your micro USB for power, and that's pretty much it. You have the HDMI out, and you can plug in a dongle or you can't, but this is what the Fire TV Stick is. Not a lot to go over as far as the hardware, but take a look at the specifications. As far as some of the specifications, this is going to have a MediaTek MT8696T quad-core processor at 2 GHz. The video card is going to be a PowerVR GE9215, and that clocks at 850 megahertz. Of course, this is going to have 2 gigs of RAM, Wi-Fi 6, so this is 802.11ax, and this is going to support HDR10, HDR10 Plus, HLG, as well as Dolby Vision. The operating system on this is going to be Fire OS 8, and this is based off Android 11. As far as both devices, this is the 1st generation 4K Max versus the current iteration. So biggest difference, of course, is going to be the rounded edges, as you can see there. And as far as that, the weight feels around the same. The height is around the same, even though looking at this video, it looks like the 1st generation is a little bit taller, and I think it might be deceptive just based off the actual rounded edges. And I think just looking at them, it looks like the HDMI out or the HDMI plug-in is a little bit longer, but essentially both devices are the same size, both are the same weight, and they both use the exact same methods to power it. So let me know in the comment section which design you like better, the rounded edges or the square edges. Personally, I like the rounded edges a little bit better. So just a couple quick comparison. This is the Fire TV Voice Remote Pro. Now this has all the bells and whistles, backlight, find the feature, the best remote that Fire TV has. Next one is going to be the Fire TV Cube 3rd generation remote, and of course the Fire TV 4K Max remote. So better comparison, I believe, is between the Fire TV Cube 3rd generation and the new 4K Max. You can see everything is pretty much identical, guys. Only difference is going to be the quick launch button. So you can see the 4K Max does have Prime Videos and Netflix at the top, and also has Peacock and DirecTV on the bottom, versus the Fire TV, which has Hulu and Disney Plus. So as far as going through the setup of this device, this is going to be standard to if you ever set up any Amazon Fire TV stick. Makes it super simple. Normally, if you order from your Amazon account, it already has your information and it automatically gets you set up. This one in particular did have an update. So once I got it powered in, it didn't update automatically. Then it rebooted and then it brought me to the setup. The setup took us into just setting up your Wi-Fi, making sure that's correct. Linking your Amazon account, and then you got to choose which applications you like to install, if any. You also have an option to restore your Fire TV from a backup. So if this is something that's important to you, maybe you have a lot of applications, you can go ahead and restore from a backup. So once you got into the home screen and everything is finally loaded, I noticed that this is really snappy. And maybe this is just because this is a brand new device, not a lot of apps on there, not anything installed, but just going through the different menus, just navigating back and forth. This device really snappy, easy to get to the menus, and I'll be keeping an eye on this to see if it slows down over time. So typical what you'll get from Amazon, you have your menus up top, you have some quick launches, your favorites, go to your settings, and you can go to your app store. You have your profile settings, your applications, your controllers, Alexa, you have your preferences. So just easy to navigate and easy to get to what you want. So let's get some of the streaming stuff out of the way. The Amazon Fire TV stick is designed and their primary function is to get content to your television. So all your popular applications is going to work with no issues. Netflix, you have Prime videos. You also have some of the free stuff. Freeview, for instance, is a good application. If you want to load Pluto TV, you can go ahead and do so. This is going to handle most streaming with no issue. What I like to do is also just pull up some YouTube videos just to see some of the stats and see if any frames are being dropped. So these are 4K videos. However, because my monitor is 1080p, it did downscale it, but I did try this on a 4K TV and it works the same. If you pay attention to the frame rate, you can see the frame rate, the total frames, and the amount of frames that are dropped, and that number has been zero no matter which monitor I put and what resolution I'm streaming. So I was able to stream in 4K. 0 frames being dropped. Here I'm streaming in 1080p, 0 frames being dropped. Just this is a solid performer, and what it does best is streaming. And if you use this for streaming, this is definitely not going to let you down. So let's talk about the new Ambient Experience. So this is new to this device, new to the platform. And this I found pretty cool, just in case you're not watching your Fire TV, just want to have something useful on the screen. I found out that this works well. So to get to the Ambient Experience, all you got to do is tap the A button, the voice assistant on your remote once. It will bring up a menu at the bottom. You can see on this menu, you have a couple options here. You can show your devices. You can play highlights, whatever. But the one that we're looking at is the first one, which is the new Ambient Experience. So when you load it first, it's going to show you just a normal picture, and it's going to give you a brief rundown and welcome how to get to everything. Essentially, if you expand this, you can see what your widgets are. You can see I have 3 right there. So you do have like a to-do list, but you can hit the menu, add widgets, and then you have more options that you can add to the screen. So you can see there, you have weather, you have game highlights or live game. You can see I went ahead and added the weather. Delivery, so where your deliveries are as far as your packages. So I thought that was a cool one, so I added that one as well. And cool thing is that after you add these, if you hit the back button, now you'll see them, and now you can actually interact with them. So for instance, if I wanted to just see the weather, I can click on it. I click on the weather, for instance. And not only does it display the weather, it also voices what the weather is and what the forecast is, which I thought was pretty cool. All right, so the other one that I added was the delivery, estimated delivery. So essentially tells you what's being delivered, the estimated arrival. Pretty awesome, I think. And of course, you can go in and you can always add more widgets. I do like the Ambient Experience, and you can always go in and add more widget, but you can also change which background is being displayed. So I was able to go in, they have different types that you can choose. So you can choose whatever you want. You can pick how often they shuffle, what the display order is. Like I said, love the new Ambient Experience. I definitely think this is worth taking a look just to get the best out of your new device. Now let's talk about adding storage to your Amazon Fire TV stick. You will need an OTG adapter like you see in here. What this basically does is splits up the USB connection to allow you to add a USB connection for whatever device. So whether it's a USB storage like you see there, Or you can add a hard drive, you can add a dongle, you can add an Ethernet adapter, you can have a Bluetooth adapter for a controller, for a remote control. So this OTG adapter is a must-have in my opinion. If you're someone who really wants to get the best out of your Fire Stick, definitely worth checking out. So in order to get this adapter up and running, you will need to unplug your Fire device, plug in the main power into the OTG adapter, then the micro USB from the OTG adapter to your Fire Stick, and then you have that free USB port. So I went ahead, I did that, then I plugged in the thumb drive. Now once I plug in the USB drive, there's a little pop-up on the bottom right just to quickly get to the menu, just to see what you can do with that drive. Now, if you happen to miss it like I did here, easy to get to from your menus. So you go to your settings, you're gonna go down, you're gonna go to My Fire TV, and you're gonna go to USB drive. Now, this USB drive is gonna give you two basic options: eject the drive or format for internal storage. So what that means is essentially you're adapting storage. So once you adapt storage, guys, it combines the internal storage of the Fire TV stick and the USB drive, thus allowing you to do certain things like installing apps directly on your drive. Once you do this, this cannot be undone. So make sure whatever drive you're using, it's dedicated for that reason. Now, if you only wanted to view or interact with what's on your USB drive, you can do this, but you will need a file explorer. Now, there are plenty to choose from, and we're going to download a couple here. But for instance, if you download the Explore File Explorer, you can actually see what's on your device. And some file explorers work better than others. So definitely play with a couple and see which one's your favorite. So once you download your favorite file explorer, in this case, I'm using Explorer, you can get to that USB storage. Mine's named Test. And if you scroll all the way down, you can essentially see everything that's on your device. So you can see I have a couple of pictures, I have some videos. Let's go ahead and test and see how they interact. So this is actually a 4K video that I did a couple years ago of the old neighborhood. And you can see this works with no issues. Not only can I play it, but I can also fast forward, I can rewind, no issues with lag. Works great in my opinion. This is also another 4K video that I normally use to test with. See no issues there. Picture looks really good. And like I said, this is directly playing from the USB drive that's plugged into that OTG adapter. Also have a couple pictures on there. You can see I have Sling, I have a picture of Hulu. Just a lot of files that you have on here you can go ahead and interact with. So let's talk about installing third-party applications, or jailbreaking as some people like to call it. So there's two basic ways to do it. I'm gonna show you both ways. So first one is to go to your app store, download the download application. As you can see there, this app is completely free and it's just a must-have for your Fire TV devices. Now once you install this application, it will ask you to allow access, and this is pretty standard. Go ahead and allow it, click OK. How this works is in the URL area, you can either put in your favorite website, do a search, whatever app you're looking for, you should be able to download the APK and then you should be able to install it. Now this is only part of side loading, so I'm going to get to the other part here in a little bit. But in this case, let's say I wanted to download Google Chrome APK from my favorite website. All I need to do is type in Chrome APK, click search. And now this will essentially go out to the internet, see what websites have Chrome APK, and then you can go ahead and download it. Now that's one way to do it, and that's part of the actual way of installing third-party applications. But let's get to the other part. You do have to enable some settings on your device. On the home screen, you're going to go to your settings. You're going to go down to My Fire TV, click on About. Where it says Fire TV 4K Max, you're just going to tap the select button 7 times. All right, so you should see a message on the bottom. You're 2 steps away, 1 step away, and now you're a developer. Once you see that, you're going to go back and you should now have developer option. Now, once you click on developer options, go down to install unknown apps. You have the applications that you want to go ahead and install third-party apps for. So I like to use vExplorer to install my applications from a USB, but it really depends on what works best for you. So once I select the apps, I'm going to go to vExplorer. I'm going to go to my USB device, and you can see I can essentially view everything on that device. So you can see I have Aida 64. I do have those videos that I played earlier, but let's install Aida 64. Just going to go up to install application, install, and we're just going to let that wait. We're going to go back and we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to install 3D Mark, and we are going to do a benchmark here in a little bit. All right, we're going to go up, click install, and now both applications are ready to go. So we just installed Aida 64. This is a great application just to see exactly what you're running. This is going to give you every technical specification that you need to know about your device. So on the system, it's going to give you your hardware. It's going to tell you what model, what brand, platform, total memory, internal space was being used. Just a great application. It also tells you the Bluetooth version. This is full of information. You can go down to the CPU. It's going to give you a rundown of that as well. It's going to give you the clock speed, how many you're running, as well as the exact CPU revision. All right, so same thing for the graphics. Going to give you all the information, your network information, your devices, thermal, codecs, directory, system files. Essentially, every technical aspect can be found in Aida 64. So we're going to go ahead and do a quick 3D benchmark. Then we're going to come back and see how this stacks up against some of the other devices. So here are our results of the benchmark. You can see our score is an 801. We do have a graphics and a physics score. So graphics is going to score the graphics card and the graphics performance, and the physics is going to basically tell you how good your CPU is performing. So on the graphics, you can see we scored a 737. This was based on 2 tests that were performed. And on the physics, you can see we scored 1150, and this is based on 3 tests that were performed. Now, as far as Firestick goes, this is really impressive, but just to put this in perspective, compared to the Fire TV Cube 3rd generation, overall score on that was a 2595. Nvidia Shield TV overall score on that is 4628. So just want to put that on there, put that into perspective. This is the best Fire TV stick that we've had as of yet. But comparing this to the Shield TV or the Fire TV Cube 3rd generation, it's almost comparing apples to oranges. The Cube and Nvidia Shield are different category, gonna have better performance, overall more expensive. So just keep that in mind when comparing the two. In the comments, let me know if you'd like me to do a side-by-side comparison with any of these devices. So next thing we're going to do is internet speed test. The first 2 tests are going to be over Wi-Fi, and the last 2 is going to be over an OTG adapter. So current test is running on a 5 gigahertz network, and you can see we scored 141 megabits per second on the download and look like around 23 on the upload. Just so you guys will know, I am paying for 400 megabits per second. However, where the Fire TV stick is located in comparison to my router is going through a couple walls, so this is more of a realistic test in my opinion. Let's switch it over to the 2.4 gigahertz. All right, so I do expect 2.4 to be a little bit lower. Normally 5 gigahertz is faster, but 2.4 is going to give you better performance through walls. So final score there is 102 megabits per second download and around 21 megabits per second upload. So just a little bit slower than the 5 gigahertz. So here's my test with the Ethernet adapter. Download is 90 megabits per second, upload is around 22. So just a spoiler alert, with these Ethernet adapters, you're not gonna get over 100 megabits per second no matter what. So my advice is that only use these Ethernet adapters if your Wi-Fi is terrible. So the last thing I wanted to do is just see how the gaming is on this device. So you guys know that Amazon Fire Stick, they do come with Bluetooth. So this allows you to pair your game controller, and the process is pretty straightforward. So here I'm on the Xbox controller. All I need to do is put it in the pairing mode. Then I need to go over to my Fire TV stick, go to my settings. I'm gonna go down to controller and Bluetooth devices. Game controllers, then add new controller, and you can see it pops right up. All right, so I click on that. All right, you can see it connected with no issues. Now I have control to essentially use my Xbox or whatever game controller that you prefer to navigate. See, it works really well, guys. Pretty awesome. So let's go ahead and we'll try it out with Asphalt. No issues here as far as lag, no issues with the Fire TV stick not being able to keep up with the demands of the game. You can see it runs very smoothly. This can be a good device for light gaming in my opinion. Of course, obviously it was built for streaming, but if you want to do some light gaming, this should work fine. And also if you have Amazon Luna, then you should be able to take full advantage of the ecosystem. So my final thoughts on the 4K Max. I love the new design of it. The rounded edges does give it a new edge, I believe. Disappointed that USB-C was not implemented in this device. So I love the fact that they upgraded the storage to 16 gigs versus your typical 8, which runs out pretty quickly. Besides that, it's a great performing device. Is it worth $59? If you're in the market for one, yes, this is the best one to get currently. If you can wait, Prime Day's around the corner. I do think these are going to go on sale, and I do see some price dropping happening in the future. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Did this overview help you? Let me know if you have any additional questions. If you want me to do some side-by-side comparison, I'll be happy to do that as well. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash the notification bell. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.